All right, so little exercise that I wanted to do today was to show you how to punch up your photographic reference to make your final piece a little more punchy, a little more lively. Now, what I wanted to point out here was, as you can see, mainly in the background here, we have a very washed out blue. Now what happened here is when I took the photograph, I was trying to get so much detail in the darks here that it just washed out all the lights on me. So when I got into the studio, I knew I had to punch that up. So you can see the bottom here is a fairly close match to the existing background sky. And then what I did is I put a thin gradation from blue to a very warm pinkish violet at the top. And that creates a little sense of depth by just putting that slight gradation from one color to another, and not only color, but from one warmth to another. The second thing is also, you can see in the eagle, I really punched up the warms in him. I wanted to make it a much stronger lit day than it really was. I wanted to make the highlighting higher or more intense, so I upped the temperature value in these browns, and you can see they're very, very, very warm red. I also punched up a lot of the yellows in his head to make it a very warm day. You can see here that there is slight yellows, but not the extent that we have up here. Lastly, I also took the greens and really upped the highlights in them. I left the darks in the blue greens, the shadow cool greens, fairly close to what they were in the photographic reference. But I took the highlights and I really boosted them up. I put a lot more of cadmium yellow medium in there just to warm it right up. And that gives the overall original piece more punch than the photographic reference that we had. So the key to this is, when you get a photograph, don't be afraid to take that photograph and punch it right up and make it 10 times better than it originally is. This has more visual impact than the photograph itself. Okay? So don't be afraid. Get your photographic reference, punch it right up. A trick you can use is you can actually use the saturation feature in Photoshop, for those of you that use Photoshop, and really punch up the intense colors so that you can get this colorization out of your computer before you even go into the studio, or you can do it yourself. When I'm in the studio, I just usually like to punch up the intensity of the color, the warmth of the color, keeping the values very close to what they should be, but just upping the intensity or the warmth of the color so that it has more visual punch.